Hello, everyone. Welcome to Talk with Christie. On Talk with Christie today, we're here to talk on the 5 reasons you may be heading for a divorce without knowing. Many times, people get into a relationship and they take a stand and do things that they don't lay to heart. They don't know the intensity, the magnitude of what they create for themselves in their marital relationship. And at the long run, they cause damages, they hurt themselves, they hurt their spouse, they do things that sometimes cannot be repaired. And they create damages that they can't even imagine themselves. So here on Top of Christie today, we want to look vividly and say, please, henceforth, for those of us that are watching this video, let's take cognizance of our actions, okay, and put the essence of our relationship at the back of our mind so we can be able to save ourselves and save our spouse from the costly effects of divorce. It becomes very imminent that people have to part ways. Okay, the choice of divorce becomes one thing that both parties look into it and say, okay, let's go our separate ways. Years and months of fondness, love, romance, togetherness, and you just get to the crossroad. The couple, they come to their wits' end and they say, no, we have to separate. We have to part ways. Okay, so here on Top of Christie today, we want to look at some of these things, and we listed five of them. 5 of these things, they are key in managing your marital relationship. Okay, 5 of them will help you enjoy a healthy marital relationship. So we listed them out and we want to pay attention to them. The very first one, many times marital relationships get static. People, when they get married, after a while, they refuse to embrace growth. Growth at all levels will mean every form of growth. Okay, you see, either the man or the woman just chooses to refuse growth. Okay, they just choose not to embrace growth, and you wonder why they do that. Okay, so many times relationships get static, and maybe because one person or both parties, okay, mostly when a person in that relationship refuses to embrace growth, okay, and we set growth at all levels, then the relationship will definitely suffer shipwreck. Okay, because anything that isn't growing lacks life. Anything at all that isn't growing lacks life. Okay, whatever lacks life lacks air, and therefore will suffocate and die. So a relationship can actually suffocate and die if that relationship lacks life. Okay, so we should embrace growth. Growth at all levels should be embraced. Embrace change. Don't always want to have it the way it was. Okay, your spouse is being innovative, is bringing creative ideas, is trying to help you go forward, is trying to make a difference. Be supportive. Okay, don't say the way I started, this is the way it's being done, this is how marriage should be. No. Okay, go with the tide. Learn to be inventive. Invent and reinvent your marriage. Okay, then the second thing is stop seeing yourself as the alter ego in your marital relationship. That's the second thing. Most people do this in their relationship and they just get it killed. Learn to see and appreciate the tiny things your spouse does in minutes. When your spouse makes an action, buys you a gift, makes an attempt, tries to do something that will take the marital relationship forward, be very appreciative of them. Okay, be appreciative and mean it. Appreciation works, especially when it comes from the heart. When you offer from the heart, you appreciate your spouse from the heart, it works. So learn to be very appreciative. The third thing that has actually destroyed most relationships, okay, and has brought about divorce is persistent cultural bias. Some people have cultural bias and they're so persistent with it. Okay, when you start comparing yourself and your spouse with what the general public are committed to doing, what people are used to doing, okay, just keep without drawing back. Just keep comparing your spouse like that and yourself. You measure, your index is what you see outside. You are going to have problem. And it's a key cause of disunity in marriage. Okay, that's a key problem in marriage. Okay, so we shouldn't do that. Persistent cultural bias, even when they know and it is obvious that their spouse is still struggling to keep up, with their previous demands. You asked something from your wife or from your husband. The person is trying to do you good. He's trying to heal the relationship. The person is trying to keep up with what you asked previously. And now you are not even appreciating their efforts. You are measuring up with what you see happen in the lives of others. Okay, that will create tension. It may get to the stage of asking for a divorce. So we should be very careful with that. The fourth thing that pushes most marriages to the wit's end of their marriage is refusing to grow together. Many people don't just want to grow with their spouse. It is like that. Refusing to grow together is one thing that causes spouses to get irritated. You just start suffering irritation because now you are growing and your wife or your husband refuses to grow. Okay, so it brings irritation either to the wife or to the husband, to the person that it's not growing, to the other person. You just feel your spouse is no more suitable, is no longer suitable, that your spouse is living, below your standard. That thing, refusing to grow together, creates a gap in a marital relationship, and it actually brings problem. The problem grows to most times to a point of divorce. Okay, it makes the other person that is embracing the growth, the person that is going for sometimes that person that is attending seminars, that is reading all the books, that is doing all the things, attending business meetings, that person begins to neglect, disrespect, okay, and undermine the opinion of the other person. So if you must have a healthy marriage, you should learn to grow together. Okay, that's disrespect, negligence, undermining that you think is nothing may actually lead to a divorce. Okay, so to handle things properly, learn to grow with your spouse. Your spouse is going for business meetings, seminars, reading new books. Please learn to grow with your spouse. It will heal your marriage. It will bring your marriage to repute. So do that. Okay, you should know that it is the information people get that changes their mindset. So this person is going to think differently, and when the person thinks differently, you have more clashes, you have more issues to fight about. There'll be more arguments in the home because the person's opinion is changing. The person is no longer the person you got married to 3 years, 2 years ago. The person is improving, so you have to grow with the person. While the other party chooses to remain at a spot, it's to the detriment of that relationship. Choosing to remain at the spot when your spouse is growing is to the detriment of that relationship. It may induce rejection, disrespect, and all of those things pushes towards divorce. Okay, today marriage is different from what most of our parents had. Men and women today have different definitions of who a husband or wife is to them, and for our marriages to be healthy, we must tailor our marriages towards what our spouses calls marriage, and we must do that accordingly. We must tailor our marriages towards what our husbands or our wives calls marriages. Okay, we must do that accordingly. It must be in conformity with what your husband or your wife accepts as a standard for marriage and enjoy marital union and bliss. Then the last thing here is lack of objectivity. Failing to produce the one tangible thing that gets your spouse on their needs for you. Okay, we're not saying that you should idolize yourself, but man, there is a need. Okay, there is a need for you to be the one person that the life of your spouse revolves around. If you must escape divorce, especially in this time, okay, you must be that one person that delivers, that offers, that does something that is irreplaceable in the life of your spouse, and you must pay the price. You have to learn to spike, to keep your marriage with that relevance. Put around yourself the need to be wanted, the need to be desired. Your spouse should see you as one irreplaceable person in their lives. Okay, we ask that you like our video, share them with family and friends, subscribe, and tap the notification bell to stay connected, updated with our contents. Thank you for watching.